We're live, so we'll never know.
Welcome back to the First of the Worst podcast. I'm Brendan Murphy,
And I'm Steve Arendis.
and we have a very special topic for you this week. But you know how we always like to do a little small talk beforehand. So we're going to start by talking about something that just a constant topic of dialogue on this show, and that is race relations.
All the time. That's all we ever talk about.
You know, it is funny. You know who loves to have open dialogues about race?
White
people.
For sure.
And white people are very angry at a Kentucky basketball player. We're not going to say what he said.
He said F that N-word would be the polite way to say it. But he said it about a white guy.
So it's not racist.
It's not racist, everybody.
And now a bunch of white people are saying it's racist.
If anything, it's like the most post-racial thing ever.
I think it's like I think it's progress.
I do too. There's no way Frank Kaminsky.
He doesn't see color.
There's no way
He
Frank
just doesn't
Kaminsky.
like Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah, but there's no way Frank Kaminsky's offended by the N-word part of it. If anything, he's pissed because that guy was like F that.
I'm starting to think Frank Kaminsky smokes a lot of weed. He's just kind of out of it. His press conferences are very entertaining, I must acknowledge. I think he'll be not a good pro, but I don't think Frank Kaminsky was offended at all. I think he's pretty excited that they beat Kentucky.
Yeah, I think he could care less.
Really,
I read somebody else tweeted this, so I don't want to claim it was my own thing, and I couldn't agree more. If your response to this kid saying this, by the way, didn't think he was the mic was hot when he said it for another thing. He didn't intentionally go out and say it to him. If your thought was anything besides that's hilarious, you're just doing sports wrong.
yeah. So more racial hot takes next week.
Racial hot takes all the time, and we might
Next
as well
week,
get
our guest Al Sharpton will be joining us.
Yeah, and the Rainbow Coalition will come too.
Chicago-based, and Jesse and Jesse Jr. is out of jail, so maybe he could do a guest stint as well.
He probably has some free time.
He and I both. Anyway, so last night I went to a rooftop of the Cubs game, and I saw a friend of the show, Carly, and I froze my ass off. But the action on the rooftop pales in comparison to the action inside Wrigley Field, as we read today.
Yeah, just peeing in corners. It sounds like people were just pissing in cups and put them on the ground.
It's like day 3 of Lollapalooza over there. It's like everyone is just giving up on the rules of society.
I love that you were at Cubs opening day when you basically are a White Sox fan who hates baseball.
I do. Both are true. Those are both true. But I watched almost none of the game and was drinking and hitting on girls the entire time. And I fared about as well as the Cubs did.
Oh, so no runs.
No runs. Not even many runners in scoring position.
Were you at least getting big applause?
I think people appreciated the effort.
That's good. Cubs lineup was not scary.
Well, I don't. I saw a guy tweet today the White Sox lost 10-1.
It wasn't good.
And some guy was like, so much, it's going to be a very long summer on the south side. And I was like, but that's one game.
Yeah, that's what all sports are, even for anything, yeah. Especially baseball, whatever. Speaking of some other things this weekend, happy Passover and Easter to everybody. I hope you didn't have to spend too much time with your families.
Well, I love my family, so it was a joy and a privilege.
No, mine was good too. I ate a lot of lasagna and ham.
Lasagna?
Yeah, we kind of just started throwing lasagna into the mix because people didn't want to eat the other stuff.
I don't really like ham or turkey.
I like ham more than turkey, and I really actually like the leftover ham more because I like ham sandwiches more than turkey sandwiches.
Ham sandwiches I can get on board with. I actually have some Hawaiian rolls. It's cheap chicken night at Jewel.
Oh, yeah, that's a good night.
I have fried chicken in the oven on warm. I have a pound of coleslaw and a pound of macaroni salad, and it's $9.99.
Yeah, dude. some good deals at Jewel when it comes to their chicken selection.
And I love fried chicken. It's good. It's championship chicken tonight.
Oh man, yeah, big game.
Big game. I'm glad that a school in the Chicago suburbs was able to qualify for the finals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're moving out to Madison now.
I mean, this whole Wisconsin
took-
beat a local team is such a load of shit.
Well, we took Milwaukee at the NBA draft where they said Jabari Parker was playing for
That's
his home
true.
team. So I think we can get all the way to
Madison is
Madison.
farther than Milwaukee.
But I think we can get all the way to Madison now, right?
Yeah, and okay, also, and my number one pet peeve about that school is now just going rampant when everyone's like, "Oh, I went to Madison."
Oh, you mean
No,
they
you
don't say,
didn't.
like the University of Wisconsin.
University of Wisconsin. Just say I went to Wisconsin. I can't say I went to Columbia. That'd be very misrepresentative. I went to the University of Missouri, which is in Columbia. But either I went to an art school because I didn't really try that hard in high school, or I went to an Ivy League school because I tried really hard.
Or do you think people that went to James Madison get offended at that?
Okay, that's what I always say when people say I went to Madison. I'm like, oh, James Madison, great school. And Wisconsin people do not find it funny.
They do that.
Yeah.
It might be one of the only schools I know that does that.
That's because it's ridiculous.
Well, I hope they win tonight.
I don't know. I didn't know who I was rooting for at any of the games this weekend. It just kind of happened that I ended up rooting for Wisconsin against Kentucky, which then made me feel really guilty as a white person because that was clearly a racial, like totally a racial situation with all the black guys against all the white guys.
I was acting impartial, but I sneaky kind of wanted Kentucky to win.
How is it in your household? So Jess is a Wisconsin alum,
Yes.
and you've kind of sneakily rooted against Wisconsin.
But I haven't audibly done it. Or really
So you kept it to
physically.
yourself.
Yeah, but my heart wanted Kentucky to win. But I want Wisconsin to win now because I hate Coach K. And I have developed a totally irrational sports hate for Tyus Jones.
Oh, because I have a sports love of him.
Oh, I just hate his face.
That's a very visceral thing to say.
He just has that kind of face that you want to punch. And then I was looking at it, and then he slapped the ground in their last game, and I was like, "Come on, you're killing Michigan State. What are you doing?"
Yeah, I like him. I always like the Duke point guards though. I always kind of like Duke. It's one of the things about me people don't like.
That and that you like Notre Dame football.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm really a Notre Dame fan. With Duke, I'm just kind of because there's only like 8 college basketball teams.
Well, we started this with an abnormal amount of sports talk here.
Well, yeah, but it relates to our real life.
Yes, and this weekend. But there was a bigger event this weekend than the national championship game, and that was Furious 7 being released into theaters. And
They don't even need Fast anymore.
no, dominating the box office and dominating the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Huge week. At the
And
box office.
I clearly went and saw it, and it's amazing.
Okay, so
You want
can
to
you
review?
please give us a quick review?
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna give you the plots
It's
because
going to be hard to contextualize with the 6
Yeah.
previous ones if you haven't seen them, which I
You
haven't.
probably should.
I probably should, considering this list, but
Well, Jason Statham brings a lot, and he's the best bad guy the series has ever had, which is great. One of my so here's why I love the Fast and the Furious movies. Before we get into this, I take movies for what they portend to be. Right, a drama movie who's trying to be Best Picture, I compare it to other drama movies that want to be Best Picture. An action movie that wants to be a big budget action movie, that's what I compare it to. And the Fast and the Furious movies are the best version of that. They're better than all the stupid superhero movies outside of maybe the Batman ones, and they're great. And they know there's cheesy stuff in it. I saw an interview with The Rock where he was saying he was having trouble spitting out some of these one-liners he dropped in the movie because he was laughing during the takes. And this is the kind of seriousness I need out of my action movies. They even have one of those great scenes in action movies where Jason Statham, the bad guy, has Vin Diesel in his sights. Just has him in his sights, literally in his sights of his sniper rifle. Could kill him and basically kind of end the series. But he sees that Vin's in a serious predicament, and Vin's going to do something crazy. So you know what Statham decides to do? He's going to not kill his main nemesis in this movie and just see how it plays out. Classic bad guy move. classic bad guy move. It's just great. The action's nonstop. You got all your old cast members coming back, well, that are still alive. Speaking of that, let's get to that. Paul Walker is in this movie.
How does it look?
It looks fine. So I think the vast majority of it was filmed, it seemed like. Basically, it was just how they kind of got rid of the character. I don't want to spoil that in case anybody wants to see it, because it's like the end of the movie. You could tell a couple parts of it are actually like cut. I can tell because I've seen these movies a lot that like one of it's like cut from another movie, like with him in a car.
Oh, okay.
And there's a scene at the end which it's kind of from afar, and I that's probably one of his brothers playing it. Let's just say it got a little dusty in the theater.
Oh, I mean, I will forever carry the guilt of being the guy who told you about Paul Walker.
It got a little dusty in the theater. Multiple people were crying in the theater. My wife was bawling, but there was other people crying too.
Your wife was weird. Bawling?
Yes. It was weird, man. Like, when was the last time you saw an ending of a movie that was basically about a real person these people who were all in the movie were friends with dying? Because that's what the end of this movie was about. Like, Vin Diesel was acting, but he wasn't even really acting. Like, it was about...
That's intense.
It was
That's
weird.
Good that he wasn't really acting, because he's not good at really acting.
Which, that will parlay directly into what these lists are today. So our list today...
Okay, but I still have one more thing I'd like you to get to, but maybe we could get to it while we're going.
Oh, we can get to it right now, in fact.
Okay.
So when I go to
Fast and the Furious drinking game.
We have a drinking game.
This is the reason this list exists. If Steve was ever to be on the show Drunk History, I believe that his topic would be the drunk history of the Fast and the Furious franchise. You had another thought. Maybe you'd do something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I wanted to go really historical, I'd go Chamberlain's Defense, Little Big Top. But
I always thought mine would be his drunk history of the O.J. Simpson trial.
That's a good one.
I'm such an expert at that. I was Judge Lance Ito for Halloween in 5th grade.
That's amazing.
I had a mask. I have a TV audience today. Sean is sitting on the couch playing video games, and he's nodding not that enthusiastically about that costume.
So, the drinking game. If you have not gone to see the movie yet, get yourself a flask of liquor. Though, if you live in Chicago, the Webster Theater not only now takes reservation for seats, but serves beer and wine. Which is awesome. But I didn't even need it because I brought a flask of liquor. Get in there and dump it into whatever soda you want. And here are the rules. You're going to drink a lot. You're going to finish like the 85-ounce soda filled with a full flask of liquor by the end of the movie. Rule 1. Drink every time you see a person shift a car. This is very specific. Do not drink when you hear a car shift. You have to see the car shift. So you either need to see him pushing the clutch or shifting the gears. You're going to drink a lot just from that rule alone. Rule 2. Drink every time there's a gratuitous ass shot of a female.
Oh.
There's, like, seriously a ton in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Rule 3. Every time there's a nitrous boost, you have to drink continuously. Just chug your drink until the nitrous boost is over. Rule 4. We call this the welcome back rule, and it's a cheers and a toast whenever one of the old characters comes back for the first time in the movie.
Okay.
Only for the good guys. No bad guys get a welcome back.
So are you, like, making these rules kind of as you go?
Well, these are the same rules we used for the last movie. And there's one more rule, is anytime a car is completely airborne, you drink.
Throughout the entire flight?
No, just like well, in this movie, that would be actually kind of crazy. But there's some parachuting cars. So that would take a long time and you'd probably be dead. You do that, you're going to be really drunk, and you're going to have a great time. So let's get into this list. The list this week are best actors to ever appear in the Fast and Furious franchise. This was not easy to do, because as much as I love these movies, I will admit one thing about them. They are not filled with great actors. That's probably an understatement.
No, but this one was kind of picking up on that whole battle plan laid out by that movie with Sylvester Stallone and The Expendables.
I see.
This one is now just following that lead and just getting as many to commit to it.
See, I think it's actually, and they started this a few ago, they're following the Ocean's 11 lead. They've kind of turned the movies more into like car-based Ocean's 11 movies.
Just bringing back everyone?
Mm-hmm. And they kind of add like a new person every one. Is kind of how it's been going down. There's not good actors in these movies though. I didn't really when I dug in. This is a hard list to do.
It's actors and actresses.
Yeah. Well, I said actor in the.
That is encompassing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm an actor. Yeah. It's rough. It's a rough list. I guess how did you go about deciding who the best actor was? Did you go by acting skill? I kind of did a little combo of. There's not really a lot of acting skill to go by, so I kind of went off of resume.
I went with resume. I went with resume. Also, I honestly, I mean, I haven't seen anything but maybe the first one, so I can't really speak to their body of work in these films.
So I actually kind of didn't include their body of work in the films themselves.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's helpful because that puts us more on the same plane.
I did that intentionally because of that. And some of these people don't have much, and they kind of just easily knocked them off the list. So let's just start it up. Who's your number 10?
My number 10 is Ja Rule. Who's in
the first one? Only
the first one.
And it's on him.
And I Googled Ja Rule. And there was an article from 2 days ago, and the headline is, How Ja Rule Blew His Future with the Fast and the Furious franchise.
And he could use the money now.
He turned down $500,000 to do the second one, and that part went to Ludacris.
Who's now been in every one.
Who is probably made about $500,000 per the 6 that he's been in.
At least at this point. I have no clue.
Also, Ja Rule makes me think of one of my favorite Dave Chappelle stand-up bits, where this is his other contribution to me, where it's 9/11, and Carson Daly's hosting TRL still, and Ja Rule calls in, and then Carson Daly's interviewing him. He's like, Ja, we want to hear your thoughts this somber time. And then Dave Chappelle goes on to like rip that whole concept apart, like how every time in your life something goes wrong, you're like, will someone get Ja Rule on the phone, please? I'm not going to say it in Dave Chappelle's voice, obviously.
Ja Rule had the best thing that he ever did for me was be part of Murder Inc. and had that one of the worst rap catchphrases ever of "It's murder."
Although at that time, that was like when the rap game kind of had the bang bang thing going a little more than it does now.
He was like a poser though, and that's 50 Cent eviscerated him and ended his career.
Best rap feuds would be another great list topic.
So we just write that one down. Rap feuds.
That's going on the list of lists.
Yeah. All right, so I'll start at number 10, which I did a cop-out, and it's a tie. It's a tie between Tyrese and The Rock.
Wow, that seems low for The Rock.
I thought so, but then what were The Rock movies you want to watch?
Mummy.
Yeah, Transformers is better than The Mummy, and Transformers isn't good. And Tyrese is in all the Transformer movies.
I was actually I even was taking into account his wrestling celebrity.
Okay, if I took into account his wrestling celebrity, he'd be much higher.
But I mean, what's he in this? G.I. Joe. The Rock's in terrible movies.
He's in some movie called Walking Tall, which was maybe my favorite Rock movie. That's not one of these, and that's sad. And and then Tyrese is just like in, I don't know, like there's no other way to say it, but kind of black movies. He was in Black Nativity, and then the Transformer movies. They're both actors. It's fine. My wife's gonna hate me for this because she loves The Rock.
Because is he Cuban?
No, she just loves him.
Okay. Well, he's from the Miami area. I know.
Yeah, he could be. Maybe he's Cuban. I don't know. So then I guess I have to go to my number 9 since I just did 2 people at 10, which is a total cop out, and it's Michelle Rodriguez.
Okay. Makes sense. There are a lot of people, and she's one of them, that basically have done nothing but these movies.
Yeah, so I was looking at her resume. She's in those Machete movies, which some people like. I have not really seen. As far as I'm concerned, the best thing she's done outside of these movies was she was in Lost for 2 seasons.
I never saw that show, but people love it.
I love Lost, so I gave her credit there, and that's why she got above those other two guys. So
And
who's your
I mean, the women. She's a very beautiful woman.
ish? Beautiful-ish.
You're right. I would absolutely kick her out of bed.
I didn't say that. I just said beautiful-ish.
I mean,
She would kick you out of bed and beat your ass, probably.
clearly that was said in jest.
I know. She. I don't know if she likes guys though either, so it's a whole other story.
Well, we don't want to speculate. We have
Yeah, we
respect
don't.
for.
Well, no, I mean she might like both. I know she likes girls. I've seen her making out with girls at the courtside at a Knicks game, which is pretty awesome.
That's the best thing that's happened at Madison Square Garden in 2 decades.
Probably. With like a supermodel she was dating. So she's doing all right. Who's your number 9?
My number 9 is a guy you've already mentioned, is Tyrese.
Tyrese. He's a
I
fast
also was
talker.
informed that he has a very strong social media presence. And if you look at his Instagram and Facebook, he does have some pretty funny meme type stuff going on.
He's like the funny parts in the movies. Like he's not. Don't get me wrong. He's no comedian or anything, but he's good for a few. He's the comedy relief in these movies. For the most
Okay.
part.
So he's a comic relief guy.
So if you're like thinking in Ocean's 11, like in a heist movie, he's the fast talker that like distracts people in like the heist crew. That's his role in the team.
So wait, I don't want to sound. Isn't that kind of? So he's basically Bernie Mac.
Does Bernie Mac have that role in that movie? Kind of, he does, yeah.
I feel like Bernie Mac has that role in those movies.
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah, he's like the fast talker. So who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Michelle Rodriguez.
Okay, so we're kind of staying close to. This is pretty impressive considering my opinion of these movies is very different than yours. But I guess the actors are the same.
Oh, in fairness, I would have gone with you to this one. I had a rehearsal. And
Yeah.
I could not show up super drunk. But I will go to Fast 8. As long as I have no other obligations.
It's gonna happen
I had been
too.
planning on. We talked about it a long time. I've been planning on going.
Yeah, but you did. You did do well in an audition, and now you have to do some rehearsing.
And this carries more weight in my life than ever before.
All right. So then, am I on number 8?
Yeah, you did 10 and
Yeah.
9.
All right. I'm going Ludacris.
Okay.
Chris Bridges. We're gonna go his acting name. He was in like 2. Okay, I'm gonna say 2 good movies. Now I'm gonna say Crash is one of those 2 good movies. Now let's get one thing straight. Crash is not the best picture that it won that year.
That was a joke.
But it's not a terrible movie. It just shouldn't even have been in that discussion for best
Here's
movie.
the thing. It is. You will never want to watch that movie again.
No, but he is in Hustle and Flow, which is awesome.
Great movie.
So he's got 2 pretty good movies on his resume.
I
And
feel like
numerous music videos.
Oh well, yeah. And he attended Oak Park River Forest High School at some point in his life.
Yeah. He's worn an Illini jersey on stage before. I've seen it. D. Brown jersey. Love it.
I met his manager and asked if he went to my high school, and his manager texted him and told me that he did go there for a time. Because that was
That's
a big
awesome.
rumor at OPRF. And it was like it was at an Under Armour All-American game where he was performing. So, like, it really was his manager, not like some guy I met at a bar who claimed to be Ludacris's manager.
That's awesome. And he could have just been texting anybody, but you really knew. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's way
But
better
did
than
not
if you ever
graduate
went
from
to my
there.
high school.
Graduated from somewhere else.
That's fine. He moved to Atlanta, right? Yeah.
But he has hoes in the area code in which I grew up.
Yes. Yeah, your area code makes the song, right?
708 makes the song.
Yeah. It's not a big city. They got the non-big city area code that slipped in there.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 7 here coming up. It's kind of a sleeper. I don't even know if you realize who this. Okay, so I didn't even realize who this person was at first. His name is John Ortiz.
Okay, I noticed him on the grid as being in a lot of those movies.
He's in 2 of them. He plays Braga, who is the main Campos/Braga. Campos was his fake name until they realized he also was Braga.
This guy's an awesome actor.
Yeah, he's actually a legit good actor.
Oh, yeah.
He plays the bad guy. So he's the bad guy in Fast and Furious, and then they go back to he's in the 6th one again when they have to interview him in jail. But he's also America's the biggest bad guy in American TV right now, David on Togetherness.
David on Togetherness. What a lovable jerk. There's never been a better home wrecker than that guy.
No, he's my least. Like, he's the biggest bad guy on TV as far as I'm concerned.
How that scene was super intense.
It was like the most intense TV scene I've seen in a while.
I was like, man, Steve's watching this with his wife right now.
Yeah.
That's like totally not the scene you want to be watching with your wife. They got that Anthony Hamilton song going.
Yeah, and then what's his face is driving there.
Yeah, in
Mark Duplass.
Mark Duplass. Yeah. Sorry, guys. We did just give you the culmination of that show. We did just reveal.
Well, we didn't actually say what happened.
Yeah, we didn't say what happened, but we did allude to the fact that he's terrible.
Well, we've known he's terrible like as soon as you see him on the show. Also, he was in Silver Linings Playbook, which is a really good movie.
Yeah, as like an auxiliary character, but it counts.
Yeah, it counts. So who do you got number 7?
I have Ludacris.
Nice. Luda.
And then at number 6, I have... So within 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, / 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago or was it a year ago? No, year ago. Because the first thing happened at Lena's 30th birthday party. Within 2 weeks, Paul Walker died and Derrick Rose blew out his knee.
Yeah.
And I was the first person to tell you of both developments, and you were like kind of pissed at me for a while. You called me the Grim Reaper.
It was brutal.
The Derrick Rose one I told you in person. The Paul Walker one I texted you, and I think I was like, "Man, that's rough news about Paul Walker." But you didn't. You didn't know the news.
I was at a wedding.
You were at a wedding, so I ruined the wedding for you.
Yeah.
Probably the night was probably ruined for the bride. I mean, obviously, no one wants to get married on the day Paul Walker dies. It's like second to getting married on the day JFK died.
Yeah, so what do you got on Paul Walker's resume here? I mean, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
A lot of teen movies. Like that was really
a
what
lot
made
of teen
his money.
movies. I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a real good-looking guy.
So that's why he was in all those stupid teen movies.
Yeah. Pleasantville is pretty good too, I think.
It was a weird movie.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's so then is it back over to me yet?
It's back over to you, yeah.
Is that my on 6? Okay. My 6 is a woman who I think is very attractive, and it's Eva Mendes.
Yeah, she's super hot.
She doesn't actually have the greatest resume, but she's in Training Day, which just I don't even care if you don't have a big role in Training Day. If you're in Training Day, I pretty much love you. And she was also in a movie that I've heard is very good, The Place Behind the Pines.
The movie's awesome.
Yeah, so I should see that for sure. I like everybody in it pretty much, so I don't know why I wouldn't see it. And she was also in the Will Smith video, Welcome to Miami, as one of the girls in the car saying Bienvenida a Miami.
And she's also in Hitch, which, as you know, I enjoy, as we discussed on a couple podcasts.
That's probably why she's going to be ranked higher on your list than mine.
Oh,
Our opinions
definitely.
on Hitch differentiate.
Hitch is definitely a point of contention here on this list, as it was on the last list we did about celebrities and movies.
Well, I think the next one you're not going to like.
Okay.
It's Kurt Russell, number 5.
I knew you were going to put him too. I knew you weren't going to have him high enough. So I was already mentally prepared for you to slight.
Well, I'm just going to say, like,
the Godfather of action movies, basically. But
I love action movies too, but they're not good. So, like, Tombstone's his best movie. That's it. I can't even handle a debate with that.
I mean, what about like The Thing and Escape from New York and all those John Carpenter movies?
Thing sucks. Escaping from New York's his second best movie.
I never saw Escape from L.A.
I assume that's bad. I never saw it either. It was like too far.
That was like the sequel to that movie.
And it was like 20 years later.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, it was going to be terrible. Backdraft's good.
Backdraft's all right. So, like I said, I was listening, I tried to list off their movies. I had Tombstone 1, and then a big gap, Escape from New York. And then I go, Backdraft, ? Overboard, ?
3,000 Miles to Vegas was a pretty funny movie with Kevin Costner.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen that movie, so
I mean, it's not very good. I guess I kind of am grasping at straws a little more than I thought.
That's the thing, though. And think of how many movies Kurt Russell's actually done, and there's like not that many.
He has actually like actively made a decision to retire in like 2005 or something.
But he's back.
He's back now.
This is the beginning of his comeback with this.
He's doing the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, which is probably going to be like one of his best. I'm hoping he's going to be one of his best movies after looking at his resume. Because I always have high hopes for any Quentin Tarantino movie.
But Quentin Tarantino loves guys who haven't done anything for like
Yeah,
10 years.
that's his jam.
That's his move.
Yeah. So then, who do you got at number 5?
My number 5 is Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. You know what? I was surprised how high up he could get. I thought for sure he was going to be pretty low at these lists.
It is a scenario where the field is so unimpressive that Vin Diesel is toward the top of it.
It is what it is, right?
I mean, he does not have a very good resume either, though he wasn't Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan had, like, one of the great casts ever.
It really did, actually.
I'm going to pull it up so I can read it, because it's crazy good. Tom Hanks, Tom Sizemore, before he went crazy. Edward Burns, super underrated. Barry Pepper, kind of famously Roger Maris, but he's been in some good movies. Adam Goldberg, he's not that great. Vin Diesel, Giovanni Ribisi, Matt Damon, Ted Danson, Paul Giamatti, Dennis Farina.
Yeah, like it was a deep cast.
Yeah, it was a deep. It was like Wisconsin, defined roles.
Tom Hanks was their Frank Kaminsky.
Tom Hanks was definitely their Frank the Tank, and was Decker.
And then just deep. So what number was that for you? Was that your number 5?
That was my number 5, and I am up on number 4, I believe, right?
Yeah, number 4.
Okay, we already discussed him, The Rock.
The Rock, okay.
In retrospect, maybe I put him too high.
I mean, The Rock, it definitely benefits if you include his wrestling career.
Yeah.
His movies just like...
He's done a lot of them, but they're crap.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Which is kind of the theme for everyone on this list.
I hope we have the same number 1, because I was really proud of my number 1. I think we might end up having the same number 1. It's a weird person. So then my number 4 is Paul Walker.
Okay.
We already pretty much talked about him. He had all those old like teen movies like She's All That, when he was just like another guy in She's All That. Do you remember the movie The Skulls?
Yeah, it was him and Pacey.
Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
He had a great name in that movie. It was like Caleb Mandrake or something. I love good movie names. If I had a movie, I would just... Speaking of great movie names, oh my god, I'm so glad I said this. For people who don't know, there's a character in the Fast and Furious movies played by... His name is Han in the movies. His full name, though, I don't think it's ever said in the movies, but according to every IMDb and everything, and I've checked this out, his full name is Han Solo. Solo spelled Seoul like Seoul, Korea, -OH. Han Solo.
I'm guessing that he started when the franchise went abroad.
His first movie was Tokyo Drift. But he's been in like 4 of them.
Diversity on the cast, you have to say. It's a big issue in Hollywood, not a big issue in this franchise.
Not a big issue in this franchise at all. Not at all.
This is basically the model UN, man.
If only the UN was run by these guys. Also, I was just thinking in this universe, like multiple cities have just been totally destroyed.
Where was it? Where was this one set?
Well, this one multiple. This one took place parts in Tokyo, L.A., London, Dubai.
Dubai. They really did go deep.
They destroy a lot of stuff in this movie.
Doesn't Dubai have like 6 roads?
Well, that's why you might have to drive through the air in Dubai.
Whoa. Okay. Let's not. $156 million at the box office, but not all of our listeners have seen it.
No, trust me, they should go see it again if they have already seen it. So then number 3. So I should go to my number 3, right? Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay, you've done your 4, right? So I'm on my 4
yeah.
and 3. My number 3 is Vin Diesel. So yeah, Saving Private Ryan. This is like, well, clearly like the highest quality movie he was in. But I love Pitch Black, actually, the original Pitch Black. None of those weird Riddick sequels. I like the original Pitch Black. I think it's a good movie. And a great like basic cable movie, Boiler Room.
Boiler Room's not a bad movie.
It's a basic. I call it a basic. That's a basic cable movie though in my world.
It absolutely is, and it's got some basic cable actors in him. Giovanni Ribisi should never be a leading man. He's like an auxiliary guy.
Yeah. Ben Affleck's in it though for a sec.
Oh yeah, well that was when he was in his basic cable phase.
Basically, Ben Affleck comes in that movie and tries to do the Alec Baldwin speech from Glengarry Glen Ross. Like that's what he does.
That's exactly what happens.
It's not as good. All right, so who's your number 3?
Jason Statham.
Nice.
He's in 2 of my favorite action comedies, those Guy Ritchie movies when Guy Ritchie was good.
So like Lock, Stock, and Snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I probably could have put him number 2, but he's my number 3. Jason Statham, as he's gotten more like the signature action guy, has sucked more. I guess it would be how I'd say it.
Some of them
in my
have
mind.
been terrible. The first 2 Transporter movies are awesome. A lot of and Crank was weird. Crank was basically the movie where it was like the movie Speed, except his body was the speed and his heart rate couldn't drop below
the bus.
something.
Yeah, his body was the bus.
No, the Transporter 1 and Transporter 2 were pretty good. Transporter 3 not so much. Now they're making a terrible TV show based on the Transporter movies.
Okay, and my number 2 is Eva Mendes. And that's not really because of Hitch. That's because I like to Place Behind the Pines. I think she's super attractive. And she's made a baby with Ryan Gosling.
It's gonna be a beautiful child.
Who's like a guy that guys would go gay for. I'm not saying I'm not saying I would. But like, if a guy were to, you can make a strong case that Ryan Gosling would be that guy.
I want to invest in that child's future, like beauty. Like if you can just invest in like beauty options for people, I want to invest in that child's.
Yeah, that kid's got everything going for it. And those 2 don't even seem that crazy.
They don't. Neither of them do really. They're like not like she's not like in tons of movies. She does them like once in a while, and he like kind of seems to just do like movies he wants to do.
He does awesome movies.
Yeah. Like some of them like aren't like critically acclaimed, but they're just like he wants to do some weird action movie, like some dark action movie. He's gonna do a couple of them. Like that's just what he's gonna do.
The sequel to Drive that wasn't really the sequel to Drive.
Yeah. All right. So then my number 2 is Statham.
Okay.
We basically just talked about it. It's those first 2 movies are what locked it up for him. Those 2 Guy Ritchie movies when Guy Ritchie was awesome.
I'm apprehensive about this number 1 because I might have totally not had this person on my list.
Who? Maybe we have the same number 1, or did I already say your number 1?
You already said my number 1.
Okay. Okay. My number 1 is kind of like he's not like the star of movies at all, but I love like a bunch of movies he's in. It's Cole Hauser, who plays.
I did not have him on my list.
Who plays Carter Verone, the bad guy in Too Fast, Too Furious. Here are the other movies he's in. School Ties, awesome. Dazed and Confused, awesome. Higher Learning, kind of awesome. Good Will Hunting, awesome.
Yeah, this guy's a great character actor. You're right.
And he's in Pitch Black, which I've already said I love. It's like he's not like a star by any means, but like he's just in awesome movies.
Yeah,
he's not like in them for 1 second. He has like a role. He's not like the star of them by any means, but he has like a real role in all those movies. A lot of movies with like Affleck.
I wonder if they're Boston buddies or something. No.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Ben Affleck didn't actually grow up in Boston, right? He just went to college there.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they like somehow tied in with school or something.
Was Ben Affleck in School Ties?
Matt Damon was though, right?
Okay, Matt Damon was.
And Ben Affleck was in Dazed and Confused.
Okay, it's totally coming together now.
And then they were both in Good Will Hunting. So yeah, there's some tie there, right?
He was like the 4th guy. It was Casey Affleck, Matt Damon,
Ben
Affleck, and this guy.
Yeah. He's got like the red hair, so it works for the Boston movie.
Yeah.
So then, who was your number 1? Who did you not
Kurt
say?
Russell. Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, you just.
And Tombstone is the best like bro love movie of all time.
I love Creed. It's amazing.
I will always answer questions to people, and I'll say I'm your Huckleberry, and they're like, "What on earth are you talking about? You're drunk again." And I'm like, "I might be, but that has context.
To be fair, you should be drunk when you say that.
Yeah, if you're gonna play Doc Holliday, play it right.
Drunk on meds. I don't know what he was doing. I think he was on like probably morphine or something too.
Yeah,
That's a great
they were
movie.
all on opium in
Also,
that movie.
Tombstone, maybe like the best Basic Cable movie.
I mean, I don't want to downgrade it by saying that.
But it's on Basic Cable all the time.
Yeah, and I don't know what you're really missing. Like, there's not like a bunch of like violence they won't show or like crazy sex scenes.
There's not crazy sex scenes. There's not crazy language. I mean, there's probably some things that are like weird crop, like edited over, you know. But it's not bad for that movie. It still works.
Yeah.
I'm not a person who rewatches movies, and that's a movie I put on when it's on.
Oh yeah, that movie is definitely one of those that you can't change the channel until it goes to commercial movies.
And that's why it's great on Basic Cable, because you don't get stuck watching the whole thing. You watch like 15 minutes, doesn't matter what 15 minutes it is.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate Basic Cable movie has somehow become Goodfellas just because it's on every single day. On like random channels, like VH1 will be playing it for a while, then it'll flip over to TNT, and I love that movie, but
Yeah, you don't want to watch it on Basic Cable.
no. The first time I saw Casino, I watched it in its entirety on USA. That was like a feat. That was like 4 hours.
How
and
like
15
5
minutes.
hours? Like how long did it take to watch
It took
it?
it took 4.5 hours.
I might have watched it on WGN once.
Also not a Basic Cable film though.
No, not at all. You don't want it. You want to watch that just like on HBO or something if it's on. One other actor I wanted to randomly, well, a couple other people. Jordana Brewster is the worst actor or actress of all time, and she's in a lot of these movies. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And Elsa Pataki is in these movies, who is like a Spanish actress.
Hey, buddy.
Oh.
Out on me.
Okay.
So do you want to say what you were saying again?
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say a couple other actors I wanted to mention. Yeah, hold on, just let me restart this. I got thrown off there.
Just as soon as you started on this line of
Okay.
thinking, it went out. So
Okay. All right. A couple other actors I wanted to mention that are just to bring them up. One is Jordana Brewster, so I can let everybody know I think she's the worst actor or actress ever.
she's in the honorable mentions.
And Elsa Pataki, who's some Spanish actress, and I heard she was not a terrible actress when she was in Spanish movies in Spain.
She's very attractive.
And she is Mrs. Thor, right? She is married to and has 2 kids with Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth is Captain America, I thought.
No, that's Chris Evans.
Oh, okay.
I'm not into the superhero movies either.
No.
But Chris Hemsworth he's I think the most beautiful man in the world according to People magazine.
No, good for him. Actually, I mean, that is very good for him. I would like to have that kind of... I said that in jest, but I would very much like to be him.
Yeah, he's got an all right life, right? So yeah, what are you thinking about the game tonight? You got a prediction here? The game's gonna start in like 45 minutes, so we can be on record when everybody listens to this, and we can see how wrong we are afterwards.
We really did get this in this was a kind of a scheduling cluster F for us, but we got it through. I'm glad we did. I think Duke will win, but I'm like 51% confident in that.
I think it's very coin tossy, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just.
yeah.
I think the script says Wisconsin wins. The writers have written this. If this is a movie, it's Wisconsin, right?
The writers do love a good Coach K story, though.
Yeah, but what's the story there? This story, they lost last year to Kentucky. They all come back. They're the underdogs. They go through basically the same teams they went through last year. It's just like a movie where they don't have more uniforms to add for the next season. They're going through the same, like they played Oregon, Arizona, like they played all these teams again. Kentucky. And theoretically, they have the opportunity to beat North Carolina, Arizona, Kentucky, and Duke all in one NCAA tournament.
That's pretty incredible.
Like that's like all you need to do is throw Kansas in there, pretty much.
Yeah, maybe UCLA if you're being generous. We know they probably beat IU this year.
But
I think Duke will win, but I said I'm not confident. I'm not a betting man.
I think I would pick. It's a pick'em game too. I believe. No spread.
I really am intrigued to see Kaminsky and Okafor. Kaminsky is so bad defensively.
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting away with it.
Okafor's not that great defensively either, though.
No, he's not. Towns Okafor would have been much more fun.
Oh, for like just the matchup, yeah. I think this stadium's gonna be like 85% Wisconsin fans.
Yeah, I mean the entire population of the state of Wisconsin has left.
I think there's gonna be like the most Wisconsin fans ever to watch a single basketball game at this game.
The biggest Wisconsin fan I know is in Germany right now. He's my dad's best friend. He's visiting his daughter abroad, and I don't know if he'll be able to see the game. And I feel guilty for him.
Well, it streams on CBS.
They blocked it in Europe, apparently.
Oh, no. He's got to get one of the... I had to get him one of my shady sites.
And he would absolutely be there were he in the States.
I heard it was craziness. So, like, after the game, I heard there was people buying... Like, Wisconsin fans were just finding Kentucky fans, which is just, like, terrible because you're already, like, in, like, a terrible mood if you're that Kentucky fan. And they were buying their tickets off of them for the championship game.
That's how it always is with the final.
But like for like no money. Like some people were buying like $1,100 seats for $100. Which is like your team just lost and now you're losing $1,000 of tickets. It's just the worst. Kicking the nuts.
And if you're in Kentucky, all you have to live for is that basketball team. So
BBN. Big Blue Nation. That's all they got. They're the basketball Alabama fans.
They are. And once again, the Big Ten just putting the SEC out of its misery, huh?
Well, I mean, once Wisconsin wins this game, I think they just kind of quit and go form their own league.
I mean, that's silly. I mean, you're right. Didn't Ohio State win at pistol dueling?
Yeah, Ohio won at pistols. Ohio State won at pistols. I mean, come on. That was made for the SEC.
Yeah. Or the Big West, maybe.
What are you guys doing down there? I'm right. I'm lumping you in. You're a part of you're the SEC now.
I don't know. Not enough. We're cheating worse than we had previously been, apparently.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed watching this game we're about to watch.
Oh, but let's do all of the social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you can email us, firstoftheworst@gmail.com. Tweet us at firstoftheworst. Like our Facebook page. Most importantly, you can subscribe to us on iTunes. Also,
please do that.
And write a review, please. Even if it's just like, or like, check 5 stars. I don't care if you mean it. Check 5 stars. Right. This podcast sucks, but if you check 5 stars and do that, I'm in. That's fine. Also, now we're like, I don't really know how it works really and use it. I know some people use it for podcasts. We're on Stitcher now too.
It works for Droid. I mean, it's good. You and I both have Droid, so Stitcher's the best Droid app.
Yeah, it's a good app if you have Android and you like to stream podcasts. So, and we're on there now. You can just search us and it'll pop up, and you can subscribe to us there too. So, thanks for listening.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, later.
Bye, Steve.